Game 1 of a best of 3, the winner's game. And both of these two have had a fairly tough time. Patience less so. GoOdy actually had a very tough first round game. I'll take it back about Patience. He won quite decisively 2-0. But despite winning decisively 2-0, there were some sketchy moments. So that's why I initially said that it was a bit tough. So the score not really reflecting what that first game was like. So spawning down in the bottom left position of Frost, we've got the red Terran player, GoOdy. And his opponent. To the top right, the blue Protoss player rather, Patience. Patience had to go through Hanfi in a PvT round 1, whereas GoOdy faced off against Gyop in a TvT. So both these two players haven't yet contended with the TvP matchup in this group, but I'm very interested to see how they fare. The winner of this, of course, advances into the quarterfinals, the live finals of the ESL Pro Series, where a lot of money's on the line. The loser of this series, though, is by no means eliminated yet. They get to knock down into the decider game, where the winner of the loser bracket will play them in order to decide who joins the winner of this game in that quarterfinal. Of course, yesterday was Group A, and for anyone who didn't know how that went, Showtime and Hero Marine were able to advance through over Hasselhoffs and Delphi. So, a lot of very talented players here. And Patience, this game opening up fairly standard. Gateway coming down, Cybercore on its way, and you may be sitting there thinking to yourself, why do we have these buildings so spread out? The answer is relatively simple. Just trying to block up some of the different routes through, so if there was a Reaper, which there is coming, it's got less ways to just sneak about. Although not a complete wall off there, I think there's still actually a gap a Reaper can get through. But still, it makes it a bit tighter, so there's more places that the Reaper can get caught. Natural base for GoOdy being taken straight after this Reaper comes out, so a very standard opening coming down from GoOdy at the moment. Probably the most standard play you can see. Adding in the reactor off the back of this, and because of this reactor, it's just going to be very normal stuff. It's not a super quick tech up or anything like that. Still only the single gas. Meanwhile, Patience wandering forth with a lone Zealot who wants his little marathon training. If he can get across, can maybe punish a little bit, but Marines quickly on their way up should be able to shut it down fairly fast. Reaper now coming in though, and there's not actually anything back at home to defend this. Sure, there's a mothership core, but that's just patrolling. Unfortunately, the Reaper not going to be able to do too much. Can poke at this, but really will achieve very little. The Zealot managing to get into the main, gets a full scout off. Going to see exactly what GoOdy has, the timing of this factory and such, but will die regardless. No kills on him, so he was just a very expensive scout there. But still, a scout gets down. Always important. GoOdy, for the moment, knows what his opponent's doing. His opponent knows what he's doing, but he doesn't know what his opponent is doing yet. Robo hasn't been scouted, but is imminently going to be revealed. Reaper comes in, gets the information, and that is probably the big scout that GoOdy needs. Nothing else really going on. Knows that there's not going to be many gateway units, but a fast tech up. These two gateways are expected, they're normal, and nothing needs to be seen to know that they should be there. GoOdy adding in the starport now. Nicely positioned up, got the bunker at the front, although shouldn't really be needed. These two stalkers would have been deterred anyway, but the bunker just guarantees that you're safe. And we should now get a relatively stable game going into the mid-game stages, at least until we see, obviously, a few more units out. Likely the next big moment would be GoOdy pushing out, if he was a standard Terran player with the 2 medevac play, but GoOdy isn't the standard Terran player. This is GoOdy, the Turtle King, the Panzer General, And so he's probably not going to want to rush forward anytime soon. He's got his third CC on its way. He's going to be happily sitting back at home, even opting to get a tank out in TVP, which is very unusual, not something that is frequently seen in this matchup. Still, from Patience back at home, he's going very tech heavy. Something that we did see previously in his series against Hamfi. He's not afraid to invest heavily in that tech, sacrificing his early game safety. With the Twilight Council and a significant investment in Stalkers, he seems happy to go for some Blink Stalker play. Running straight for the front, a repair trying to come down on this bunker, but it is not done quickly enough. Patience takes that down, gains control of the area around the natural, and GoOdy is going to have to retreat back from this. The tank, sure, is in a nice spot, but a good time warp means that not much getting achieved. The Observer grants vision knowing that the siege tank is there, and the Stalkers are going to have to back away before considerable losses are taken. This Mothership Core playing a very greedy game. He's going to die. Ow. Don't know why he went in there. Bit of a mistake, but still. Just boldly moving forward. The Observer still up. A missile turret coming down on the natural, but that's not going to reveal the Observer there. Blink about a third done, so still a long way off. And Patience starting up the double forges, so he's not looking to end this game now. He's done some nice damage, and probably going to try and take a third shortly. Moving forward though, an Observer revealed because of the high ground vision, but both tanks are already dead. This gives the Stalkers plenty of room to start being very irritating. SCVs have no choice but to get pulled, just to tank up some damage, allowing these Marines a bit more time to try and prevent the Stalkers' approach. Patience with 3 worker kills, and a decent number of units killed as well. He's in quite a nice spot now. Continuing forward, Zealots in position. The tank on the high ground shelling away consistently though does prevent an all-out assault from Patience at the moment. The missile turret also takes out that Observer, and so no high ground vision and no way for these Stalkers to know how many tanks there are, and more importantly, targeting them. Probably even more importantly than that, they can't blink up either, because they've got no high ground vision after the Mothership Core was killed earlier. GoOdy adding in a Banshee, adding in Cloak, whereas back for Patience, he's got his third base on its way, and he's got the 1-1 upgrades being chrono boosted out from his double forges. This is giving Patience an astronomical upgrade lead, because for now, GoOdy, no sign of any upgrades from him. He's going to be upgrading his, obviously, mech units, as the armory is there, but no sign of any infantry upgrades yet, and regardless, if double upgrades are coming up against single upgrades, and the double upgrades are on the Protoss side, where they've got chrono boosts, and they're already ahead, GoOdy is not, it's impossible for GoOdy to catch up upgrade-wise, basically, until a long time in the future. Another Observer is now in position, but unfortunately multiple missile turrets are around. One gets taken out though. This grants area for these Stalkers to get up into the main base. If they blinked up here, actually, they'd be out of range of a lot of those siege tanks. Another missile turret coming through. GoOdy repositioning his siege line just to try and stay secure. Great scan by GoOdy, and fairly essential, because he doesn't have enough tanks to cover this entire area yet. Needs about 1 more to be secure from that. Regardless, Patience has contained the Terran on just 2 bases, forcing the mules to get cooled down at the natural base, mining it out faster, while having his own third base now operational. This gives Patience a better income, it gives Patience control, and it gives Patience confidence that he isn't going to be attacked anytime soon. A Banshee can be awkward, it can be a little bit annoying, but it's not going to be the end of the world. That was a couple of worker kills down from that. Although, more importantly, Patience did leave those probes off mining for a long period of time. Stalkers retreating back now. This is opening up the front of the base for GoOdy. He has no way of knowing if they're still waiting around here though, so being cautious. We'll confirm that they're back, of course, once they come over to deal with this Banshee. Couple more worker kills there. Actually, no, I misread that completely. GoOdy has only got 4 worker kills so far this game, so nowhere near as high as I thought. And 4 workers for a Cloak Banshee, not really worthwhile. So good news here for Patience. He's definitely in the driver's seat, in a commanding position, and GoOdy is going to have to wait it out if he wants to make this work. And more importantly, he needs to make sure that he can secure up a third base. Patience moving these Stalkers down to where it should get placed, thinking it may have been attempted while he pulled his Stalkers back to deal with the Banshee. But Goody, instead, being cautious, and wanted to go for a little bit of Hellion harass, but insta-timing of those pylons through more luck than skill just blocks it all out. So no way Hellions can come and harass easily there. Good play by Patience, just using some building placement to his advantage to keep this top area from getting basically sieged up by any tanks or any Hellions or anything. Transformation servos on their way through. This means Goody's numerous Hellions can become Hellbats, but he's still being poked and prodded at by these Blink Stalkers. Although the Stalker numbers a little low, and so will have to retreat away from this quite sizable mech force now. Got a good number of Immortals coming through, and this is the correct response. The gateway's built in beautiful symmetry. Nice lined up there. Patience clearly adhering to any OCD that any viewers might have there. Or maybe he has, just wanting everything at right angles. But ooh, nice little move in here by the Stalkers. One downside to mech is it's immobile. Splitting the Stalkers as well. Some to the main, some to the natural. Splitting up Goody's response to them as well, guaranteeing a bit more damage done, but also pretty much confirming their eventual death. 17 SCVs have so far been killed. This is some fairly large losses. 19 workers die before these Stalkers are done. And of course the double Immortal drop ready to come through. Needs to be very careful though. There are a good number of units out for Goody. The one thing he is lacking though is any form of anti-air. He has 14 Marines to cover that, which isn't really enough to deal with this. Good number of Stalkers also on their way through. Missile turret trying to come down, but once the Immortals are out, that'll stop that. The Observer coming over in order to pick up these Banshee. Goody has been seen to move forward quite a long way, and as a result, his army is far out of position in order to mount any form of defense. The Immortals getting a good amount of work done. The Stalkers losing the fight because the Observer is taken out by this missile turret. And this means the third base of Patience is getting attacked. This is certainly going to fall now. Patience doesn't have anything in order to defend it, but he's getting some nice damage done of his own. Somewhat base racing Goody. By somewhat I mean he's base racing Goody. No Mothership Core with the army, that's back at home, so no mass recall available. And two Immortals are not going to live up to their name and will die to this many tanks and this many Hellions. Of course, what we've all been taught is never base race a Terran. But can Patience make it work? He's lost his natural, lost his third, his fourth is still secured. But Goody is taking much more losses. He's losing all of his production facilities now. Some Stalkers are slaughtering any SCV at his third. And the army of Goody slowly but steadily deteriorating. The Immortals working away. GG is called and Patience takes game number 1 of this best of 3.